Hello and welcome to Greeting Star. Today we're going to be making a leaf wreath card that rhymes, and we'll be using these Hero Arts die cuts with these beautiful leaf shapes here for fall. And in order to get the fall color on the leaves, I'm going to be using some distress ink. You can find out what colors these are down in the description below. I'm going to smoosh these onto my craft mat, and then after I do that I'll be spraying each one with some water so that way we can activate those colors and then be able to just drag the leaf through those pools of color on the craft mat in order to make them look like real actual fall leaves that have changed colors. So you can see here that I'm spraying each square with water. And then this leaf here I cut from Nina Solar White cardstock. It's the 80 pound. And I wanted to do the yellow first because that's the lightest color and get the whole thing sort of yellow, and then drag the other colors, drag it through the other colors so that way you would be able to. I wanted the leaves to be very bright even though it's fall, and I think that putting the lighter color on first helps that. It gives it a nice base, in other words, so none of the white shows through. And then I just went ahead and continued to go through the colors until I was happy with the result. So I let it dry. I may have even used my heat tool a little bit, and then I came back again and added some more color. So you can see there's yellow and red there, and I wanted to get a little bit more brown. And I did this with all my leaves, and then I kind of went around to edge it as well, around the edges on the leaf. And you can see here that I am using my heat gun tool, and that little I think it's called a quick stick by We Are Memory Keepers. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get some little spots of brown on the leaf by, sort of flecking them off onto, I don't even know if fleck's a word, but it sounds good to me. So I'm going to use that Zig Clean Color brush marker, but you could probably use any marker that you have, and just a fine paintbrush. I'm going to wet the paintbrush with water and then just flick it off onto the leaf to get some of those brown spots there on the leaf. And it's kind of hard to see, so I put it on some white paper here, and then I go ahead and I do it again. And it's really cool because doing it this way creates some really fine dots, really small fine dots, if you can see there on the leaf. You probably see it better on the paper than you can on the leaf, but in person you can see it, and it's really cool. It looks like the leaf is actually decaying. So now here I have some orange and brown cardstock, and I'm just going to arrange these leaves on the brown cardstock the way I want. And I'm trying to get the shape of a circle for a wreath. And I do kind of spread it out a little bit because I want to add some of those smaller ones in there. And I'm trying to decide about the placement and how I want them and how I want them to look and so on and so forth. So I'm kind of just playing around here until I get it exactly the way I want it. That's kind of interesting. I could have done that, but I wanted to leave room for the sentiment. So, but I mean, you can design your card however you want. You could do a die cut and put the greeting over top of that layout, or you can do what I've done here and just decide to pull out those small ones and put them around the edges. So you can do that too, just whatever you feel like for your card. That's the fun part of making a card, is all these decisions you have to make. It's just depends on what your mood is and how you feel and what you want to do and maybe the materials you have or don't have. So I laid it out like this, and I wanted to get more of a round circle, and you'll see here in a moment I think I pull out my die cut shapes in the circle die cuts just to be able to make sure that that is a circle in the middle there, make it look more like a wreath. I think those leaves are so pretty too. They look like real fall leaves with all the variations of color. Fall colors are my favorite. They're just so beautiful, I think. And once I've decided how I want these leaves to be laid out on the card, I'm going to go ahead and I guess I changed my mind. I want to make it a little bit smaller. I am going to go ahead and leave those leaves hanging off of the card though, because I think they look pretty and I didn't want to trim them down, which you were able to see on the finished card at the beginning of the video. So I'm using some glossy accents to put these leaves down to just make sure that they really stay. And I decided to try to use this quick pick to lift them up and add some glue, but you can see that really didn't work so well. So I ended up just using my hands instead. I was trying to avoid getting the glossy accents on my fingers and then accidentally spreading it on the card somewhere where I didn't want it, but it just wasn't working out. So I ended up using my hands later on, you'll see. I did it anyway. So yep, I'm just going to use my fingers and go for it. We got to be fearless and brave when we're making cards sometimes. Otherwise, it's no fun. So I'm just going to try to keep these in the same position that they're in. And I just can't get over how pretty the colors look on the leaves. I just love that yellow and red. Those dark, deep earth tone colors are so beautiful, I think. And then I'm just placing this acrylic block on top to let it adhere, help the glue to set and dry. And I just leave that for a little bit. I would say leave it for at least like 15-20 minutes. And then I'm going to adhere this orange cardstock to the base of my card. And this is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 base card. So then this orange cardstock is just a 1/4 inch, or actually it's the same. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm covering the base with that. And so then the brown is just a 1/4 inch smaller all around the edge. So just checking on those leaves there, making sure that they're dry before I try to adhere it to the orange cardstock. Where did I go? I've disappeared. Okay, these are the words that I'm going to use for my greeting, and I changed my mind. At first I was just going to use a kind of a short, cute greeting, and then I decided, sorry it's off on the side there, you can't see it. I decided to use a little bit of the longer greeting right there. That's the one that I want. And I'm going to go ahead and use Versamark and some embossing ink. I'm going to heat emboss the greeting in gold, so that way it shows up really pretty and provides a nice contrast to the brown, and it pulls out the light in the leaves. I think it's beautiful. So this is my anti-static tool, and I'm just going all of the way around. I don't want any of the embossing powder to get stuck to the leaves, although that might be pretty actually. So you could do that if you wanted to. If you want some little gold flecks in your leaves, you could definitely try doing that. So this is some embossing powder. It's in a real small container because I purchased it from Joann's in a container of lots of different colors. It was a Hampton Art container of several different colors of embossing powder. And I used my 40% off coupon, so I got it for a lot less than buying it at actual price. And then I'm going to put some, I was thinking of doing these gold Nouveau drops, but I just wasn't pleased with the color. I didn't think they were shimmery enough. So I went ahead and I decided to use, instead of these Nouveau drops, I decided to use another product that I have. It's actually less expensive. I think I purchased them at Walmart, and it's a brand called Tulip, and they're it comes in a tube just like the Nouveau crystal drops, but it's got some glitter in it, and it's kind of more reddish brownish. So here I am just adhering the panel, the card panel, to the card base here, and you can see that it's about 1/4 of an inch smaller around each side, so that way you get the orange and the brown. And this is the Tulip stuff that I was talking about. It's called Beads in a Bottle, and it has glitter in it. And I'm using the color that's kind of reddish brownish. And when it dries, you can really see those that glittery shine in these beads. And the interesting thing about this is when you pull it straight up, it does look like you're going to get sort of like a top of an ice cream cone, but they dry completely round, so you don't have to worry about that, just as long as you pull straight up. So it's kind of hard to see in the video here, the glitter and the shine. And you can see what I'm doing here is I sort of made a little bit of a glob instead of a perfect little circle. So I'm just using this is a paper clip here that I've pulled out one end, and I'm just trying to scrape off the area where I got some of that I didn't want it. So just using that paper clip to do that. And once it dries, you'll be able to see how those beads look. And I don't know why I brought that back in. I just wanted to show you that those were the leaves die cuts that I used from Hero Arts to cut these leaves out. So this is my finished card. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching me make it. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I hope you'll check out my blog at greetingstar.org, and also my ebook at amazon.com/author/greetingstar. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.